Hello, my name is Alan.
And I'm Albert.
We are your co-hosts, and this is Vessel, an actual play RPG podcast using the Genesis system by Fantasy Flight Games.
This is a co-GM series. That means we both have characters and we both have influence on the world around us.
There is some conversational swearing. If you are uncomfortable with that, then this may not be the podcast for you. We apologize.
And lastly, Tron should have won Best Motion Picture Soundtrack. What was the guy's name again?
I don't know, you tell me. How do you remember?
So Denton and Vint.
Our illustrious heroes.
Yes, we were contacted by... Fuck, why can't I remember his name?
Who are you trying to think of?
The fat guy.
Oh, Oliver.
Oliver.
The fat guy.
Oliver. It was Oliver... wasn't Oliver Queen.
Wendell.
Oliver Wendell, there we go.
Yeah, we met with the Green Arrow. That's who we met, Albert.
Oliver Wendell, there we go. Okay, so yeah, we met with Oliver Wendell. He told us that there was weird stuff going on in the district we live in is...
Sagan.
Sagan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sagan.
And the place that we were sent to is Gown? Yes. And
I do have a map if you want to look at this.
Yeah.
And I'm quite proud of it. You saw the beginnings of it before.
Oh wow.
Vessel is 2 miles high and 15 miles around with a couple of offshoot things. So those buildings that are next to it are massive.
Mm-hmm.
They're just monstrous skyscrapers. And underneath the dome is actually a bowl shape that's 4 miles deep.
Right.
So from the bottom of that bowl shape all the way to the top is easily about 5 miles on average.
And then it goes further down.
And it goes further down beneath that. And then those massive support pillars, they're actually mostly solid.
Uh-huh.
They support the roof, and then they go down into it. A large portion of the structure of those spikes are buildings and stuff. They all go down and they kind of have like a flower shape into the ground, like a weird spiral type thing. But the central one is actually known as the Sanctuary Pillar, and that one's one of the bigger ones.
Uh-huh.
And that one actually goes down almost about 30 miles.
Right.
Reason for that is because that's where the power source for a majority of Vessel comes from. At the bottom is some generators, and they drop water in it, and then the steam vents come up, turbines spin and whatnot. Yeah, and there's various districts that are all labeled. It's kind of hard. It's a three-dimensional construct, and I'm trying to represent it on two-dimensional paper. So
sweet.
Yeah, just trying to map out an anthill.
Sweet. All right, so Oliver contacted us. He told us weird things are going on in Gown. And through our investigations, we found out that one of the key members of the Crimson Conclave had returned by the name of... I don't remember. I should keep that in notes.
His name was Ripjaw.
Ripjaw, there we go. I thought I had better notes.
I don't know what notes you take, Albert. You're your own person.
Oh yeah, I have it right here. There was a bank. There was a building that was on lockdown, and we determined that it was a cover for something. And we're currently going to that building to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think there was a building across from it that had some camera footage that
was the bank.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one where the shit went down was I don't know if we have ever established it, but I imagined it more as a business center that was on the lower floors, and the upper floors had penthouses and stuff.
Sure, okay.
Yeah,
so it's just a big ass building.
Yeah.
But the bank across the street had camera footage that had been wiped. Mm-hmm. And we were going to go to see if we could find that camera footage or figure out who had wiped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the plot hooks you remember.
And I mean, there was Carrots as well that we also need to look into. Drazor was a name that showed up a lot in the reports we read, who was basically annotating all of these things, and that might also be something we look into. But yeah, right now we're going to this bank.
What was another thing that I mentioned?
It was carrots, right? Other than that?
I think there was. There was 5 things I remember distinctly giving.
I remember 4.
The 5th one was your thing with that random guy.
Yo, yeah.
Yeah,
The person who disappeared. That you noticed and didn't do anything about.
No, because I noticed it and I'm like, well, he just went behind the thing. We need to get out of here.
We get there basically just using like the city air car, right?
Yes, it's an air car in like a weird Star Wars sense, but it operates on like, think of like, Matrix, how they have those electro things. It has it's a similar concept. It doesn't work anywhere there's not metal,
Right.
but you're able to use it to navigate portions of vessel. Most of this city, there are like structures for vehicles, but it's kind of like a highway. There's only a couple of them,
Right.
and you're gonna have to get off eventually. And a lot of the cars are designed in a very like minimalistic way, like smaller, just in profile. So like, there's no, you don't sit side by side. You sit like a jet fighter rather than like a car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're quite sleek.
Yeah, they're just narrow.
Okay, cool. So we have one of those.
Yes, we actually own one.
Yeah, so we have one of those. We travel to Gown.
The scene opens up with like probably like the door closing on the car.
Right, yeah.
Denton crawling out and you already standing to getting a lay of the surroundings. What do we see?
So I imagine it's a pretty wide street. On one side there's that bank, on the other side is the that big business complex, and it's closed off with like police tape. It's not physical tape, it's like that hologram electric stuff.
I love that.
And it's only just like one singular line, right? But like if you cross it, it goes red and sounds an alarm, basically.
Yeah.
And like I imagine there's probably a few police officers there, and there are a few police cars, but there doesn't seem to be that much security, just like really baseline stuff. And like there's other things on either side of both the bank and the business center. I imagine there's like a small string of various fast food things. There's
in the business center?
Next to it.
Oh.
As well
like
as
like a mini mall court type thing.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Just a really small thing of just food, as well as maybe like a post office or just like a supplies thing. It just sells paper and nonsense like that.
Okay. We get this real cool shot looking over Vincent's back, like shoulder, as he like pans around, and then the camera pans back to where the car was, and you see Denton putting in quarters in a machine, just breaking the whole vibe. And Denton says, "All right, so this is the place, right?"
It looks like it. Just let's check out the bank first.
All right. Hey, what's our game plan for getting into the building? Pointing, and I gesture towards the
Just immediately just grab your hand, just like don't point. We'll figure that out later. Let's just check the bank first.
All right. And then we start making our way towards the bank, and then we cut to us opening the door.
I assume it's automatic.
Yeah.
It's a bank. Why wouldn't it have an automatic door?
I don't know. Why do banks have glass doors? I don't know.
We walk inside. Are there people like actually working? Is it open?
Yeah, the bank's open. It's doing business as usual. There's a lot of foot traffic going in and out. They all wearing business type suits, but like it's in preparation for this episode. I was like looking at fashion stuff. I don't even know how to describe half the shit that people even wear. Just look up cyberpunk fashion. It's
those weird transparent raincoats.
Not that specifically. I think it's more like the dark wools and leather type stuff.
Okay.
With like just the weird cuts that aren't common in our
minds. I just like. Whisper you just like go make a bank just go make a deposit.
But I'm not with this bank.
Open an account. That doesn't matter.
Okay.
I need to look around. Basically, while you go up to the teller and I'm just like there, just like standing next to you, just like look around and look for some sort of security room or something.
Okay. Denton's gonna go up to. We have this shot of like Denton. You kind of like just pushing Denton a little bit, and I'm like, oh. Start walking half confidently up to the thing and get in line, looking around, and I kind of give a little kind of like hi, how you doing? Look to like someone next to me, and then we shoot to you, and you're like, you do something. What does your character do?
I'm just standing next to you, looking for a security room of some kind.
Okay,
or a closet.
roll a perception check. It's gonna be average.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's not like they're hiding like tripwires or anything like that. And you're just looking for a room. You're not looking for like a sensor or anything. You're looking for something that will be really easy to notice.
2 threats.
You don't notice anything offhandedly. There's no convenient door that says security or anything. You do notice a couple of people and a couple of security guards. And these security guards look imposing, and they're actually harder to find, and you only notice one, which is suspicious, and you instinctively think that there's probably more somewhere here, you just don't know where they're at.
Huh. I don't see a security room. At this point, like, the line is moving forward?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, you know how banks always have those, like, booths where you actually, like...
Yeah, where you can talk with the banker rather
Is
than
there one of those
the
that's
teller?
just empty?
With your threats, no.
Shit.
Oh, you know what we didn't do? Destiny points!
I mean, we both have 2.
Oh. You want a piece of,
Yeah, well, we can just use the Jenga blocks again. Here you go.
Yay!
Don't
I
drop
get
them
Jenga
this
blocks.
Immediately drops.
Okay, so you don't notice any cubicles.
Okay, that's fine. I just whispered to you, just like, okay, just open an account.
Alright, I'm gonna roll a perception check since I know that you're starting to do stuff. My perception is a whopping... Was it cunning?
Yeah, it's cunning.
I get a proficiency die, which is a yellow one. Now, I realized as I was editing, we didn't really talk about the rules and mechanics of all of this.
It's fine.
Is it fine?
It's
I don't know. I feel
fine.
like since it's an actual play, we should talk about this. So
Eh.
difficulty is determined by how many was it difficulty die?
Yeah, it's difficulty dice.
Yeah, and they're purple.
Jesus
That-
Christ.
That's one
It's a failure and one advantage.
So I don't notice what I was looking for, which was help. I guess security guards. That's what I was looking for too, because I was help you out.
Bonus, we get to the front of the line now.
Yay!
And the teller is just like, how can I help you, sir?
Bank account.
What about it?
Oh yeah, I've come to open a bank account.
Okay. We'll get you a representative right away. And like a banker actually comes up, greets us. What's this bank called?
I did not give it a name, although I probably should have. Nope, no name. Come on, CodeDM, come up with a name. Has to be now, come on. I hate that sometimes about being a DM. Like, you do all this planning and then your players are like, what's this? And I'm like, You know what I mean? If anyone out there is a DM, you know what I mean.
Underbank.
Underbank. Okay,
Sure.
Cool. Is it a chain?
Yeah, this is a pretty big chain. Hello, sir. I'm very glad you decided to open a bank account with Underbank. What kind of account are you looking to open? Checking?
I am
Savings?
looking to open an investment account.
Well, yes, we could do that for you.
Okay. So I get up, shake his hand, and like...
Then just sort of like nudges at you, just like, get upset, ask for a manager.
Okay. I think we should roll like a deception check or something for that one.
I've also forgotten to do Vin's voice. I feel bad. It's okay. We'll start doing it now.
This is only the second time we played these characters, and if anyone's listening to this and they're like, "Oh, you're not doing," we're not professional voice actors. We love D&D, we love games, we love RPGs, and we've done voices in the past. The problem is it takes a long time to get into the character you're designing. And
What's the difficulty on this, by the way?
Deception, right?
Yeah.
We're not any. The only person to notice is him.
I mean, like, he's just a dude.
He's just a dude. He's also trying to appease us. You just go average. I don't feel like turning this into a whole thing.
Fuck, are you kidding me? An advantage?
So it's not a failure. It's a wash. It's not a failure.
Yeah.
Which means the state doesn't change, which was...
He's still in... I'm just trying to get him out of the room.
Okay, I know what it is. You don't... Denton doesn't fully hear you. You say that, he looks at you, and he's like, what? Oh yeah, this is my associate. And then what do you want the advantage to be?
I'm just like... Yes, hello, my name is Vint. It's nice to meet you. How are you doing today? Oh, fuck. I'm the person voice acting the banker. God damn it.
It's not the worst thing in the world. It just takes a little bit of practice to get the hang of it, but I'm sure you'll do fine, Albert. I got confidence in you. You've been my DM for like 3 years now, so.
Ah, yes. It's good to meet you, Vint.
Yeah. So about that investment account, I had a lot of things like this futures. I don't know anything about investment.
He's like, yes, we can. Oh, what sort of I don't know anything about investment as a person.
I think he would just ask about investments. And
Yeah.
He would kind of prey on the fact that Denton doesn't know much.
Yeah. Okay. So he basically just starts like giving you all of these things that you've never heard of before, and he's really makes you convinced that it's a good idea.
You know, one of the things that we never really did when making these characters is figure out how much money we have. How much money does Denton have access to? This is something that I think that your character would know.
You have like $20 on you.
Oh shit. Do I at least have like a credit card that has like my name? Okay.
Does each office have its own printer? Or is there a printer for the whole building? I look throughout the office.
So I'm finished shaking his hand, and we get up and we both start walking. He's like still talking and chittering, chatting to us, but we get to his room, and then as we get into his office, it's not like it's a cubicle, so it's like a half wall.
Yeah.
And he gestures for us to sit down. He gets behind his desk, and you take a look, and there is a printer. It's like right behind him. And if this were an actual shot, then it would like focus in on Vinton.
I'm giving this to you. There's a cup of coffee next to the printer.
Hold on, let's restart this. Albert.
Yes. I'm giving you this Jenga block, which represents my story points, and I'm using it to say that there's a cup of coffee next to the printer.
Okay.
And as he's about to print out like the paperwork, Vint kind of just goes up to it and is just like, "Oops!" And I just spill coffee all over the printer.
You want it to be tactful, or you just?
Yes, I try to be tactful about it.
Okay. Well, you spent a point for it, so it is tactful. It's like, no, I'll get that for you.
And it's just like, oh, I'm so sorry about that.
He like goes to the thing. He like takes out the like unused paper and like he lifts the printer up a bit and he's like, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just go use my next door neighbors. Yeah. And he conveniently leaves for a couple seconds.
While he's gone, I like go up to the printer and like,
what the fuck was that?
Assuming he's still logged in, I like cancel the print job and start it a few times just like to delay him.
Roll a computer's use.
And I'm going to.
It's not because it's hard. It's because you have to do it before he gets to the printer.
Yeah, and I'm going to, while doing that, I'm going to try to get like the network password.
Okay. There's gonna be varying tiers, but your first, what's your first one? Which one are you doing first? The
I'm
access
trying to delay him.
Or delay? So delays first, and then the access is secondary. Yes.
Yeah. What's the difficulty?
The difficulty would be, I'm gonna say hard, because you're accessing a bank computers. And
come on, I've seen banks. They run Windows 10. It's not like a weird grocery store computer that runs DOS.
The thing is that they use their own software, and you've never seen this software before. So it's kind of like
canceling the print job. Fine. I've failed like every rule so far.
Oh my god!
Are you kidding me?
It looked like it was gonna be a triumph for a second.
2 failures and 3 threats.
Okay. So you cancel all the print jobs. He gets there and there's nothing printing. He's like, oh, I gotta go back. So you're sitting there and you're like, fuck.
Can I still try to get the network password at increased difficulty?
Yes.
I'm giving you another one of these. What's the difficulty?
Probably just do hard again, because this time you're actually trying to. Hey.
That's better.
That's
a lot better. So that's 3 advantages and 1 threat.
Okay. 3 advantages. What?
Or 3 successes.
Yeah, 3
successes and 1 threat.
Yes, you do get it. You get a network access. Okay, you know what? You kind of thought that there was a post-it note that said like his password on it, but you looked at it and you're like, this isn't a password. It's his username. And you type it in and it has one of those auto highlights and you're, oh, that's easy. But as soon as you get in, you're like, wait, there's got to be an easier way to do this. So you start like open a drawer. He has like a notebook. If the guy has to put his fucking username on his computer, then he probably needs a book to tell him where all of his passwords. And on there's a password to access the network.
Okay. What's the threat?
Huh?
What's the threat?
The threat?
Yeah.
Has to do with computers, yeah.
Yeah. Or just my position in the situation.
Well, you were at the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just do that. Like, you have to actually like sit down and at the computer. You couldn't have just like reached over. At this point, Denton's gonna. Well, I would have had time to think about some of this, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be like, I'll go distract him. I get like right out the threshold as I bump into him. So I'm gonna attempt to. What would it be to distract him, at least temporarily, for you to get out of the seat and back into your own chair?
Skullduggery?
Yes, that will be what I do. Skullduggery. Well, how hard would this be?
I think average.
Is it average?
Yeah.
I've been throwing all the curveballs at you, bro. You could make it harder.
No, you're not doing anything hard. You're just going up to him and just be like, I need to use the bathroom. Where's the bathroom?
Bathroom! Get out of the way!
I still don't see the bathroom. Are you serious?
So that's 1 failure and 3 advantages. So I come out, I don't bump into him. I just like step aside and he can clearly see you over my shoulder. And what are my advantages?
The advantage is that I've managed to like at least make it look like I'm looking under the table, and I come up and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I dropped the pencil.
Okay, deception.
Yes.
There's a lot of rolling in this episode. I like how before it was all just like...
The difficulty's still average?
Yes. Yeah.
A success and 2 threats?
Yeah. So, he believes you, but to an astute eye, you don't have a pencil in your hand.
I just sort of go back to my seat and sit down, and I'm just like, okay, how do we get out of here?
Restroom, down the hall, sir. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I'll actually use the restroom as well, and I get up and leave. They just go to the restroom and open my computer just like in the toilet, in the booth. I'm just like starting to access the network.
Yeah, so we're going down the hallway and Denton's like pretending to actually need to use the restroom. And then we cut and you open the restroom door and then Denton's like, what do we do? What are we even doing?
It's fine. I got what I needed. I'm just going to just sit here for a while. It's fine.
Alright.
If anyone asks, I don't know. I ate something bad. It's fine. I just sit down, open my computer.
I like to imagine that you open the stall, it slams shut, and Denton's like, what? Okay, so computer check on your end, yes?
Yes, I'm going to try to hack into their network.
I
mean, I have the password, so like I get connected to the bank's private like network. I'm going to try to access like a security feed or like a security computer.
I'm trying to open up the Edge of the Empire's rule
You can
thing.
get the hacking rules from
Is there hacking rules?
Yes.
There? Oh man, this marks a milestone in this actual play where we use an actual book instead of just setting up lore stuff. Where would it be at?
It's sort of
Rules, hacking rules, page 232. So if anyone out there is using hacking rules, yeah, it would be a hard check. However, since you do have the code, I'm gonna give you 2 blue die.
Sure.
Yeah.
My computers. Right. These. Oh, that's pretty good. 1 success. Yeah, just 1 success.
So you're able to access it. Nothing gets triggered, but you don't get access to like a lot of stuff. You just essentially just are able to access the network. You see like a couple basic computers and other stuff, and with some careful maneuvering, you could jump in. Now that you have access, do you choose to shadowjack in, or do you want to just stay in?
No, I'm just gonna stay in the stall for now. So I'm just gonna see if I can find a security computer or a security feed.
Okay, so you're accessing a security feed.
So the check that I did is just basic access.
Okay, so I guess the first one would be a gate then. You have to get through it because you have a code, right?
Right.
You could attempt it using the credentials you have. The gamble is that you don't know whether or not this guy has access to the security key.
I mean, probably not.
Okay,
He's just a banker.
So you don't want to risk that?
Yeah.
Alright, in that case, you're going to have to overcome a firewall.
And it's difficulty 2.
3. Program strength.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Well, the difficulty, I'm thinking...
The difficulty is always 2, but the 3 means I have to get 3 successes.
In order to succeed at it.
Oh, I wish I had more Jenga blocks.
So
I produced
close.
1.
So close. Okay.
And, yeah, just 1 success.
That means that you don't trigger a thing, even though you succeeded, you just can't get over
Let me
it?
see.
That makes sense to me, though. If you succeed, you don't trigger it, you just can't overcome it.
Yeah, basically.
If you had a bigger computer that could do some code crunching in about 5 minutes, you totally could get over this, but you don't have that with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to dedicate 5 minutes to try, with the stuff you have now, or do you want to try something else?
So I've already accessed the system. From where I am in the network right now, so I haven't accessed the security system to access the actual security stuff. But can I get a log of users that have accessed the network over the past few days?
Just the network?
Yeah, just the whole thing.
Ooh, yep, I love that. Computers check. It's gonna be average, but the number of advantages / disadvantages determine how much of that log you get.
Yeah, okay.
So like if you get only just one, you'll get like a couple hours. But if you get a lot or even a triumph, you get like for the past month or something.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's 3 successes and 1 advantage.
Okay, you get the past 2 days of people that access the network. Just the whole network.
So I'm just gonna quickly scan through it and just like pick out anomalies.
Okay, that would be a perception check.
Sure.
I mean, you got a copy of it on your thing. You can just copy it real quick and look at it later.
Okay.
If you want to do that, or if you want to look at it right now, you can totally do that. It's gonna be a hard perception because it's all spur of the moment, and you've been in the stall for about almost 2 minutes now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every action you attempt is gonna be a minute.
Sure. Okay.
It's not super intense. It's just a lot to get through.
What sort of commands can I do on the network from here?
Okay, so it's a banking thing, and obviously they have firewalls set around things that they know people will monkey around in. So security cameras, the cash registers, and door codes and stuff like that.
Right.
And so they have the firewall set around that. They also have oh man, if only you were Shadowjack, then that would be perception.
I mean, I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, you've been a Shadowjack for a while. Most things that exist, technology-wise, aren't set up to deal with Shadowjacks as much as people think. So, in some ways, Shadowjacking makes hacking a lot easier, but it comes with an inherent risk.
Yeah.
You could die. Because if you die as a Shadowjack, you actually die.
Yeah.
So, that's one of the risks. It's easier, but it makes failures a lot more dangerous.
Okay. Before I leave, can I set up my own program within this system? Like, I just want to set up something around the firewall.
Describe it to me.
I just want to set up a sentry. So, like, if anyone else tries to break through the firewall, I get notified.
I don't think your character would... He would have a skeleton of some programs, but I don't know if he would be able to do this instantaneously. I will let you try, but as it stands now, it feels like a daunting check to me to make it to do it in like less than 5 minutes. Because you're essentially setting up a really complex thing that will access the outer net and send it to you securely. So, and he has to get around all the existing firewalls and everything that's built in place to stop things like this.
Okay.
Oh, another thing that you could do is you could do the authentication code. So you could give it access as if it were that guy.
Yeah, I can do that.
You would get the blue dice.
Sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, two
successes and a threat. No, there's 2 successes.
Yeah, everything else washes out.
Sweet.
Nice. Okay, so yeah, you totally succeed, and nothing triggers, and you do a little test run, and it works. You get a little notification on your pad.
Sweet.
Yeah, nothing's alerted, and no one's the wiser.
Alright, close it, walk out of the bathroom, and just walk straight out of the bank.
While you were doing that, I wanted to roll a perception check, just like kind of peek out the door. In my mind, the restroom is a bit like on the side and a little bit away from the rest, and it's kind of likely that there would be a staff entrance here.
Sure.
What would this be?
Average is fine.
Average is fine?
It's not like it's well hidden, it's a door.
That's cocked.
That's cocked.
Those changed. I'll just re-roll everything.
Sure.
But that's a triumph. That one was undeniably a triumph.
No successes, no advantages, but a triumph.
1 failure. Oh, that's right, yeah.
Because you specifically took that one out.
No, because I rolled that one, and then that messed up all my other rolls.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wait,
sure.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry, I'm cheating, Albert. Here, you can have one of your blocks back.
Sure.
This is how the system works, right? You use it as bargaining chips, just to convince the other DM to let you do something. Okay, so the 1 triumph. I don't notice the security door. Ooh. I see a location of a...
It's an emergency exit.
Yes. I like that.
We use the emergency exit.
Yeah.
I walk out of the bathroom, you're like, hey. And you point towards the emergency exit, I'm just like, yeah, that works. Go up to it and just walk right on out.
The alarm goes off and we're like,
Doesn't draw attention to us at all.
Afterwards, I'm assuming we like walk away, but we didn't like sprint away.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it from like a camera point of view, we were just like out of the restroom, opened the door, we said, "Oh shit!" Looked around as if like this was a surprise to us, and then we took off. We cut to a scene of us.
Now we have to get inside this building with cops all
A bit
around.
further away. You established that I wasn't thinking about cops when I was designing it.
Hmm.
I don't think they would have cordoned off the whole building. It's a business center.
Yeah, okay.
There was cop cars. We noticed definitively cop cars, and like there was one entrance like off to the side.
I'm
that
sure
they
there was
blocked
like
off.
I'm sure there was like one particular officer like having lunch or something.
Yeah. In fact, now that we've had time, we're back near the car
Uh-huh.
and we're taking a better look at it. Roll a perception check.
Difficulty?
Average.
Sure.
Oh no, wait. Before you did average before. This one's to notice things specifically that no normal person would notice.
So
that's
hard?
too hard. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 3 successes and 3 threats.
Your character, as he's looking around, there's like maybe 5 police cars, and one of them is like an SUV type thing that's a bigger transport vehicle.
It's like the SWAT truck.
Yes, but all of them are not labeled in the traditional like red, white, and blue type thing.
Sure.
Some of them have siren bars on, light bars on top, but they all just have this like military look to it.
Okay.
They're in a really bad part of the city,
Sure.
just in general.
Yeah.
So they have like military grade weapons for their security forces.
Okay.
There's one SWAT car and like 4 support vehicles, and they're all milling about. They've like sectioned off a portion of the street for themselves, and they have one entrance that they stop pedestrians from going into, but it doesn't block off the rest of the business of the building.
Okay.
So, and just from looking at it, you look up and you're looking at the buildings. Like, you didn't notice it before because they used like a clear plastic.
Sure.
But there's a couple of glass windows about on the 9th story that have been shattered out. And when you notice that, you look around and there's like glass fragments here and there that you didn't notice before.
Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like something did break some of those windows.
Right. It definitely broke out.
Unsure, but there is quite a bit of glass. It does look like someone made an attempt to clean it. How many successes did you get? So far I gave you 2 details. 3, right?
3, yeah.
Okay, so another one is that you notice most of the police officers are not decked out in SWAT gear.
Okay.
It seems that all of the danger has passed and they're just there securing the perimeter. And one of the cards definitively looks less military, and you have a hunch that this could mean forensics.
Okay.
It's not as if it's an active crime scene, it's like they're getting in the process of just getting
Sure.
out.
Okay.
My perception.
Same.
Same. I just noticed all the same details you do.
Okay. What are all these threats though?
Oh man, there's 6 threats between us.
Yeah.
I guess I could cash in a few of them to say that one of the military people noticed us. That seems a bit much though, right?
Yeah. We haven't even walked up though.
Yeah, we're just looking around. I can't think of anything. Like, how can you fail at looking around?
I don't know.
Note to self: 6 threats.
Yeah. So I just sort of start walking into one of the other entrances, see if there's like an elevator of some kind.
Okay. The building itself.
Can I find a directory?
Yes.
I'm gonna just
It's not
look
too hard
for
to
a
find.
random business on the 9th floor.
We're thinking about this in terms. I have to stop myself from thinking this as well, but there is no sky.
Right.
We're just in a section of hollowed out like cave. There's a roof and there's lights. To us, it would kind of look like just stars here and there with the occasional spotlight. With like it looks like there's a bunch of moons and like small stars, but in fact, those are windows. Those are spotlights. Those are fluorescent lighting.
Yeah.
And even though this is daytime, it's always like a dull twilight light coming from the roof.
Yeah.
And all the other light comes from streetlights and businesses. And this 13-story building is actually one of the bigger ones in the area. And it's probably about... If a building were 20 stories tall, it would reach the roof of this particular part of Gown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's actually really close to the top. So when we get to the directory, you look at it, the bottom 5 floors are businesses and offices and stuff. Everything above that is penthouses.
Oh.
And like apartment living shit. Yeah. So if we were on the 9th story, it would be someone's residence.
Fine. I'm just gonna go into the elevator.
Hold on, I think this is a good moment. So you look at me and you say, fuck. And I'm like, night story. That would mean that it was someone's house.
Yeah, I was hoping I could have an excuse of going there.
Did it say anything in the report about it being someone's house?
Did it?
Going back, my brain says no.
No, I don't remember anything like that.
It did say drug activity, so.
Well, let's just go.
Hold on. You don't want to snoop around a bit just to see? We're already here. I mean, we haven't learned anything.
Let's just go to the 5th floor.
Alright, so we go up to the 5th floor.
I'm just gonna find a window facing the street and just have like a higher vantage point.
Okay, we get to the 5th floor, and it's like we're getting higher to the top, and generally the higher you go, the more associated quote-unquote wealth. So we reach like a sports bar that's kind of like a bit more classy. Alright, there's low lighting and everything. We go to one of the windows and we look down. We have this cool shot of how Gown looks. 5th floor is about level with all the other buildings around it, and Gown is a lot of prefabricated buildings made out of cement. There's no cool masonry or anything.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's really like ramshackled, and there's like a couple of buildings that are made out of like bricks, but a majority of it is all just prefab sheer concrete with like no details and stuff. The building we're in had a similar style, but this one actually looked like more care was taken in its architecture.
Yeah.
And everything else around it is smaller businesses and houses. All of it was built to surround this tower.
Okay, so like from the 5th floor, is there anything below where the street is, and just like details I didn't notice before, but like higher vantage point you can see?
Roll a perception with that one advantage. One of the boost die. Yeah. That does not look
No, it's a failure with 2 advantages.
Okay, you don't notice anything that pertains to us, but you notice 2 things that round out the scene of Gown. What do we see? Because remember, I have these conceptions in my mind of how these things are, but since this is an endeavor with both of us, you're more than welcome to add more details about Gown that may or may not be useful in the future.
So you said there's a lot of prefabricated buildings and all that. I'd say that there's also like, even from up here, and this is a relatively nicer part, there's actually quite a lot of street art.
Ooh.
And so a lot of these flat sides are decorated with like various spray painted street art.
Oh, yeah.
Some of it's trashy graffiti, but some of it's actually quite good.
Yeah, some of it's real nice.
Yeah.
I like that. And then another one is that there's a weird greenish purple haze that's like smoggy in this region, and that's not normal in Vessel, because Vessel is really good at, you know, maintaining their ecosystem, but Gown is way the fuck down there.
Right.
And like I had said before, it used to be a sewer treatment processing sector in an industrial zone, but after population grew out of hand, they converted it to a population zone.
Right.
So that's the reason why there's a lot of prefab buildings, because they were like, we need houses, we need buildings.
Yeah.
And this purple haze is probably a byproduct of that process.
Okay.
And like, this is an industrial zone that wasn't designed for people, so.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we're still there, and I'm assuming we're getting a bite to eat. It's like past breakfast for us. I don't think we ate before we left.
Yeah, and like, I guess since we're here at this bar, I'm just sort of going to talk to some people and just kind of.
It's early. There's not a lot of people.
Oh, okay.
Like there's not a party crowd or anything. There are people that like
Sure.
look like they live upstairs and they come down for like breakfast and stuff. So
Okay.
there's a lot of people in this area.
In that case, I'm gonna try to like eavesdrop on those people and see if they've heard anything about
like
what happened.
I like that. I think I'm also gonna roll perception, and this one's gonna be average because we're just doing basic eavesdropping.
Oh, it's really bad. 2 failures.
But there's 2 of us.
That's better. 1 advantage, 3 successes.
All right, so I get 3 pieces of juicy information.
I don't know anything about the
Just
penthouse though.
Throw in anything. It doesn't have to. Really
Okay,
be
so,
like you can throw in interesting people that live here.
Okay.
You could throw in like cool happenings in other parts of the town. You could throw in like an event that may or may not happen. You could put in political intrigue, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it doesn't have to pertain to the building at all. These are just people that live and exist in the world. Who knows what they have to say?
So you have 3 successes,
Mhm.
1 advantage. So I think the first one is that some of the people in the complex are getting worried that the extra police presence here, like, they know there's a crime scene, but this is a bit more than usual. And there are some people starting to catch on that, like, it may not be safe to be in gown right now.
It's never been safe to be in gown.
But, like, it's extra unsafe right now. And people are...
Well, yeah, because everyone's still worried about the military presence.
Yeah, exactly.
Because gown's still technically under martial law.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not overt, but they're still under martial law.
Some of the people here have noticed even more of that recently. The second thing is that someone did, in fact, jump out of the building from the 9th floor and landed in the street, but seemed to keep walking. So he jumped out of the 9th floor, hit the ground 9 stories down, but was healthy enough to continue to walk.
Okay.
And the third one is that some of the... I don't know if it's TV. I don't know if they would call it TV.
I mean, TV is just television, right?
Yeah, some of the network stations have started to go down recently.
I mean, just for simplicity's sake, I get it's cool to world build and like come up with cool names for stuff, but at a certain point it becomes prohibitive, just storytelling in general. So if you want in your brain, you can replace TV with a different word, but we're just going to use phrases like TV and cars and stuff like that.
Some of the TV networks stop broadcasting to gown. From what it looks like, the people here no longer get some of those networks.
Okay.
Don't know if that means anything, but yeah. People confirm that it's actually happening throughout the city.
I like that. So the first one was broadcasting blackouts?
Yeah. It was broadcasting blackouts. Someone jumped off the 9th floor, he survived and walked away. And the police are still hunting them. And the first one I said... What did I say? Oh, it was the street art and all of that.
No, that was your perception.
Oh, that was mine?
People are concerned about the police presence.
Yeah.
Alright, so your character didn't notice anything, but this is what Denton knows.
Oh, you know what? Actually, one of those should be that you get a name of someone who lives on the 9th floor.
I mean, I think the concern can go out.
Sure, yeah, because that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
You learned the name of someone who lives on the 9th floor.
You got a name, or do you want me to?
I don't know, Roger?
Sure. I have a personality for him already.
Okay. So
as we're eating, we just
finish eating and it's like, alright, we should continue. We should get going.
A lot of gossipy people around here. Did you hear that lady? Man, she could go on and on and on.
I wasn't paying attention, to be honest.
Oh man, there's a lot of cool stuff that they talked about. Did you know that they're starting to black out broadcasting networks?
No, I watch a lot of TV. Sort of go up to the elevator, open it.
And as they're sitting there, and someone's saying that someone busted out of that window, so they landed and they walked away. Kind of sounded like bullshit to me, but
that's crazy. It's hard to believe.
It is
sort
hard
of
to
pressed
believe.
the 9th floor. You don't happen to know anyone who lives here, do you?
No, but I did hear of someone say Roger. I mean, they were complaining about loud music, but
that's good enough. On loud music, let's say he has a party. Hold down the close door button.
Yeah.
Someone starts walking up, just hold the door, and I just continue to hold it.
So then, once we get to the 9th floor, the door is open. Whereas before in the downstairs area, it was very business-like. There were the plain white walls. There was like a couple of like generic art pieces of like stock footage or something, and like a couple of like stills where like they were acting out a scene, or like famous clips from like a play or something. Just some small, like slightly cool hologram type thing. When we get here, there are actual oil paintings, there are actual vases and stuff. It looks like great care was taken to make this place look classy.
Is there like police tape at all?
We noticed that there's a couple of people already in the hallway, about 50 feet down.
Sure.
That's probably where it is, but it doesn't look like they've blocked off the elevator or anything. They just kind of cordoned off a room. And the hallway's pretty wide. It's probably about 10-12 feet across. So it's a pretty big hallway. They kind of blocked off half the hallway in front of that door.
Okay.
But they're still letting people by. There's just 2 police officers sitting there, and they're not wearing like flak jackets and like helmet riot gear. They're just in their uniform, and they have the military insignia on their shoulders.
Okay.
And they look like they just have a single sidearm.
So is it like glass walls or anything like that?
No, it's like a hologram projector that's on the floor, and it just has like no trespassing.
Right.
And it's not like a full banner, it's just a single sign type thing that floats in the air.
So
there's just 2 of them on both sides of them.
Start walking towards them. You sort of walk past them. While we walk past, I try to look like into the scene.
Okay.
Perception?
Yes.
Hard?
Not average.
Average.
I mean, are you trying to not be noticed?
Yes.
Oh, I don't want an extra one in there.
1 advantage.
You don't notice anything cool, but
So at least
the guards don't notice you rubbernecking.
Okay, there's at least like.
Wait, we got 6 threats.
Oh.
They do notice you rubbernecking. That's gonna cost 2.
Oh.
No, 3, because you gotta get rid of your advantage. So,
Sure.
Hey, move along.
It's like, oh, sorry.
This isn't for you.
We're here for a party. Someone named Roger. Do you know?
Do I look like a fucking directory? Move on.
I just walked past him.
But I'm gonna roll perception as well. I'm also gonna be secrety. Aha! 2 successes.
So you do that while I'm like bothering the guard.
Yeah, 2 successes and 1 threat.
Okay.
Actually, 4 threats. We got that one catches out now.
I mean.
They noticed me as well.
Yeah, but you at least get to see a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you? I'm gonna say you see that there's a forensic officer and they have like a laptop and a bunch of stuff and they're collecting data.
Okay.
There's actually like the scanner device that's scanning the whole room.
I imagine it's probably like a little drone type thing.
Yeah.
It's going around and it has like little claws and it has like samples or something. They're definitively doing forensic work. Do I notice anything in particular? Like maybe like a bloody mess or something?
The problem is I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to find here.
I do, which is why I was asking about the bloody mess. Just DM to DM, there was a massive confrontation in this room.
Okay.
Several people died, and there were shots fired, people got shot up, and there would be a significant amount of blood.
Yeah, so you see blood.
Ooh, and then my other one, since I had 2 successes, is that I noticed bullet holes. And it looks like they replastered it to try to cover it up, but it's really noticeable. And they missed like one like near a baseboard.
Is there like an adjoining room that we could try to get into?
Yes, but it's about like 30 feet down.
Okay.
These are big penthouses.
Yeah.
They're not like small apartment buildings. The doors are far between. As they notice Denton looking, they're like, "What are you looking at? Get on!" So, are you gonna try the door?
Of the adjoining penthouse?
Yes.
Sure, I'll knock on it.
You're gonna knock on it?
I'll knock.
Okay. God. I'm gonna spend one of my points to say that that's Roger's room.
Sure. Okay.
We knock.
We're looking for a Roger?
A Roger? I am the one they call Roger.
Oh.
What would you want? He's wearing a silk bathrobe with like, he has like tufts of curly black hair on his chest, and like he's wearing a mankini. He looks like a douche. He's just your stereotypical
Is there
French
anything
guy.
in his room that would indicate something I could pretend to sell to him?
This sounds like a check to me. I don't know what it would be. We've been doing a lot of perception checks. I just want to point that out.
I know.
It could be streetwise.
Sure.
Yeah, streetwise makes sense to me, because streetwise is like knowing people and
Yeah,
like knowing how to play people and talk to them. That makes sense to me.
Okay, I like that. Ugh. 1 advantage.
I'm gonna wipe that 1 advantage with this. I got 1 remaining threat now, so I just complete wash.
And just like, we are door-to-door cologne salesman. Would you be interested?
What, you think I smell?
No, you seem like a refined man, and I was
The door starts slowly closing.
so just like kind of assert myself inside. As I think we have great products to offer you.
No.
I just
If I want cologne, I buy cologne. I don't need you. Look, we don't have cologne, right? We just came to ask about the party and the sound.
yes.
Look, if the landlord told you to come, you wasted a trip. I pay money to stay here. This is my right.
Man, our guys don't have a stun mode, did you say?
And if you have nothing else, he starts closing even further.
Can't think of anything else.
I'm even gonna stun him.
Oh wait, did you have a stun baton? I sort of look over to where the policemen are. Are they looking at us?
In Assassin's Creed, you know how it has their little icons? It's like 1/3 down.
Can I make a stealth check before I make this attack?
Yes! Average seems fine.
If I roll the stealth check, do I have to do it?
Depends on the stealth check.
Sure.
Ooh, no, that's a wash. So I imagine that your stealth check was trying to stealth from the military officers, right?
Yeah.
So I imagine you walk through the threshold. So they see you do that. They don't think it's threatening, but the guy in front of you is just like, whoa, whoa, and like he kind of stops you. You're just out of sight, but you're jammed between the threshold and the door. What are you doing?
I hit him. I panic.
Stun baton.
I'm just gonna be like, well, this is a bad idea.
Proficiency die.
Just gonna boost this a little bit.
Yep, he gave me a Jenga block.
Are you serious? 2 advantages. Alright, let me think about what I can do with those. This isn't good. Stun 3? Disorient 3? Really? Fuck. With my advantages, can I take a free maneuver to at least get through the door and close it?
He was actively trying to close it, so you'd have to do a check to like muscle him into his own room.
Which would make it not a maneuver.
You can try to get in, but it's gonna be essentially an uncontested strength check on your part. Oh no, on his part, he just has to stop you.
So just trying to force my win and close the door.
What's your
My brawn is 2.
He does CrossFit.
What?
I'm gonna say he does that.
Give
your
me
brawn
a
was
block
2, right?
for that?
He has 2 brawn. That's what I meant, but he has.
Sure.
He does CrossFit.
Oh, you kidding
Yeah.
me?
It budges like 2 inches, but he does that thing where you put your foot down at the base of a door and it just stops it.
So that was my maneuver, right? I still have my 2 advantages?
Yes.
Can I at least just cover his mouth, my hand or something? Just shove my forearm into it?
I forget the rules specifically, but can't you use advantages to grapple?
Yeah, you can, sorta. But that would kind of imply that I hit.
I would consider that a grapple.
Okay, yeah, if you allow me to do that.
I'm torn on this.
At least make it so that the guards don't notice.
I'm gonna take your Jenga block and say yes.
Fine.
I get all the Jenga blocks. For those keeping track at home, I now have 4.
I guess it's his turn? Or your character's
No, we should
turn?
roll initiative because that was an advantage thing.
You roll cool.
Mine would be vigilance because I was not expecting this to happen.
2 advantages.
Okay. 3 successes. He would roll vigilance, right?
Yeah, he would roll that.
1 success. So I forget how the order goes. Is it successes first, then advantages?
Yes.
So
it would be a player slot first.
Okay.
And I will take the player slot. Attempt to stun him again.
Okay.
Come on! 2 failures and an advantage.
I'm gonna wipe that last advantage out with that. My last built up threat. Just make it a wash. Next would be his turn. He's going to...
Still have my arm shoved in his mouth.
Yes, you do. You want to use a maneuver for anything?
Oh, I guess I should have used my maneuver. Whatever. I'll just try to continue to push into the door.
He'll do his thing again. The state doesn't change.
State doesn't change.
Yeah. So that was a wash, and rules-wise, it doesn't succeed, it doesn't fail, it stays whatever it was before. Meaning that he still has his foot there, and he says, and he is going to attempt to grab your hand and push on the door, pinning your arm in between the 2, which would be a melee attack.
Yep.
Okay. And then it's always 2 for melee.
Yep.
And he doesn't have any proficiency, so this is just a raw roll. 2 successes, 2 threats. How does damage work for melee? Is it just he does brawn damage?
Yes.
Plus threat, or plus successes, right?
Yeah.
So he does 4 damage to you.
I'm just slamming my arm against the door.
It's not that he's slamming your arm against the door.
Uh-huh.
He's kind of stepped back and he grabs your arm and like shoves his shoulder against the door. He crushes your bicep in between the 2.
The threats are the police still don't notice.
I don't know if that's worth 2 of them. It's definitely muffled.
Yeah.
No, the disadvantages is that his door is soundproof.
Sure.
So the sounds he makes are really muffled in the hallway.
Yes.
So long as you don't cry out, this might be okay. Denton, he is going to see this is happening. Fuck. Take a look at the security guards. They're still not noticing, yes?
Yes.
Okay, in that case, I am going to roll a deception check to convince the guards that we're just talking loudly with this guy. What's the difficulty? At this point, they're like 2/3 suspicious. I mean, 1/3 suspicious.
3.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, 1 failure and 3 threats. Thank you for letting us in. I would love to learn about the party.
This draws attention.
Yeah, it goes right back to the top of suspicious. Hey, what's going on over there?
Is he walking towards us?
He just says that, and he kind of like turns his torso to get a better look at us, and he's actively watching now. So if any of us fuck up again, he's definitely gonna go to red. Oh, I still have my maneuver.
Oh.
I'm gonna use my maneuver to prepare to quick draw my slug thrower.
Sure.
My gun.
That's not the worst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take an aim before this. Just attack him one more time. Yes!
Yay!
Yay! 1 success.
And nothing else.
4 stun.
Does soak value affect stun?
It does.
He doesn't
Although
have.
he's probably not wearing armor, so
he
it's just
doesn't-
gonna be his straight brawn.
So you stun him, and he seizes up for a second, but he doesn't. After the stun subsides, he doesn't collapse. And then
Oh, how much damage did I take before?
he dealt 4, but you have soak of 4, so no damage. Next would be his turn again.
Yeah.
He's going to open the door, and
Wow.
Huh?
I'm sort of in between him and the door still. Well, like I'm in the door basically.
yeah, you're in between the threshold
Yeah.
and the door itself. So you have one arm in. On his side, this looks hilarious because you can just see the shoulder, and you're like, rah, 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 and your arm just flailing on the other side, trying to stun him. The whole time he's trying to not be stunned and keep the door closed. He's going to open the door and just kick you and push you back.
2 threats.
He opens it, and you're able to fully come into the room. And when he hits you, another 4 damage coming your way, but you don't take any steps back at all.
Yeah.
And he just gives you a free maneuver.
Okay.
And then my turn. Thank you, and walks in. That's his whole turn.
Take another swing at this guy. Gonna take an aim.
Are you serious?
An advantage.
Just one advantage.
I'm gonna give you a boost on your next check.
Yay! Okay. Denton doesn't have a stun device.
Just
Yeah.
punch him.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like.
I mean, it's his
sock the
turn.
guy. Oh yeah. What do you want? Why are you doing this? And then he's going to run for a kind of weapon that he has somewhere in the place. So he's gonna maneuver and then use an action to like open a drawer and grab something. We're not close enough to see what it is. What would he have?
Probably just a self-defense pistol.
Yeah, it's like a little snub nose.
Technically, that would
Mixers.
probably be a maneuver, and like so we basically did 2 maneuvers. Could take a
Maneuvers.
strain to still take his action.
He would.
Although I don't know if that brings him above, because it'd be 2 strain. I don't know how much.
Yeah, that would knock him out. So
Would
he
it?
wouldn't do
So
it.
he can't.
So yeah, he has it and he's aiming it at
Okay.
one of us. Well, not rules aiming it. He's bringing it
Yeah.
up. So Denton's just gonna walk right up and just clock this guy across the face. Brawl, yes.
That's cocked.
And another success. So
Yeah.
3 brawn and 3 successes. So at +2, so 5. So just clock this guy right across the jaw. Something gets loosened and boom, collapses to the ground.
Just watch the door.
Shit!
Just watch the door. It's fine.
Did we need to do that?
Nah, probably. Like, just go.
Fuck. All right. Denton goes up to the door and like locks it and puts the chain on.
Yeah, go to the adjoining wall of this room and the crime scene.
There's no adjoining wall. You have to go into his bedroom. You open it. It's like a really ostentatious thing with like silks and stuff.
Sure.
And it has one of those walls that's just glass, but it's like opaque. But as you walk in, the lights kind of slowly turn on. It's like a motion sensor thing. And there's someone in there. They're sleeping. There's like soft music playing. There's like a little sound bar and it's dim mood lighting. And then the music starts and you're like, what?
Still asleep though?
Yeah, she's still sleeping.
Hey, let's see if I find like a switch.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Okay, yeah. You go up to the wall, and it's not like a switch or anything. It's like a pad, and you just pull one of the dials down. The sound and the mood light starts going off. But it is dark, and there is someone here. So,
Gonna roll like a stealth check.
yes, sir. It's exactly what that was intended to do.
That good?
Yes, it would be average. She's sleeping.
I mean, would that make it easy?
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a threat though.
Yeah, you take a strain.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. What were you looking for in this room?
Looking to see if there's any bullet holes on this wall that I kind of see through into the other room, or if there's like just computer access or something like that.
Okay. Do a hard perception check because it's dark.
Yeah.
You have to trade off the sneak for the perception.
It's one advantage.
It's too dark.
I'm gonna say that my wrist device has a flashlight.
Okay, so you give me a Jenga block to make sure that you're...
That my smartphone has a flashlight, yes.
I mean, that seems pretty standard to me.
So I'm just doing the thing where you cover the flashlight in one direction,
It's
so you...
focusable. It's an advanced smartphone. I don't see a problem making that a functionality.
Yeah, so I'm just using that to look around, and I assume with the light, I'm able to find like a computer access.
Yeah, he has like a personal computer, similar to what you have, but his is like a Rolex watch thingy, and it like projects out of that. Yours is probably like a ring or something,
It's a really thin wristband.
like a Fitbit.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, his is like a really nice Rolex. Your watch is probably like customized for hacking, so you probably just do something and like connect to it real quick, and you just like slave it to your wrist. It still needs to be in physical contact, so like you.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So I grabbed that, but like, is there a computer terminal for like the building?
Oh, It doesn't make sense for that to be in his room. It would make sense for it to be like in an office where his Wi-Fi modem would be, or like maybe the kitchen.
Sure.
In the room, there's no
So I
building
just
access.
look for an office.
In the meantime, Denton like got the guy up, put him on his couch, went to his fridge, opened it up, and like grabbed something cold and put it on his face.
It's like someone else here. Just sleep.
Someone else here? What the fuck? Be quiet. What do you mean someone else is here?
Just be quiet.
What'd you do to them?
Just be quiet. Just sleep.
Oh, okay.
And look for an office.
Okay, so imagine, like, you ever been to like a hotel where there's like a whole suite?
Yeah.
It's like that. There's like sitting areas, there's like a TV, there's a fireplace, there's a really big bedroom with like a master bathroom, and kind of like have to open a door and then it leads to like a mini hall. There's like mini exercise room.
Is the TV connected to the network?
Could be.
Like Shadowjack through the TV?
Yeah. Actually, there's one thing that Shadowjacks can do. They can essentially channel their magic to attempt to see network access points. It's
Sure.
something that you can do, but it requires a arcane check.
Okay. What's the difficulty?
Depending on what you're looking for, it varies. So you're just looking for a generic access point, not something that's hidden. So it would just be about average.
That's, yeah, 4 successes, 3 threats.
Okay, I'm going to cash one of those threats in to say that I know what those threats are. I'm not going to tell you just yet.
Okay.
The TV's connected. There's like a network junction that comes up in one of the pillars next to the doorway. And it looks like there's a panel, but you need to go into a room behind it, and then there might be a panel there. And that's probably like the exercise room.
I go to the exercise room and see if there's a panel.
This guy did CrossFit. What is CrossFit even?
It's nuts. I don't understand.
Anyway, he has things for that. And underneath the TV, there's a Wi-Fi thing, but it comes out of the wall. But there's like a little fuse box looking thing. Yeah, you open that right up, and you're like, this is exactly what I need. You gonna Shadowjack in?
Can I make like a perception check to make sure there's no like weird traps or anything that would prevent access?
Computer check. Yeah. You gonna access the system?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be average. Because it's not. Because the reason why it was hard before is because that was
like a bank.
That was a bank.
2 advantages. 2 failures, 2 advantages.
Okay. It looks like this guy fucked up his IP address with like some weird setting. It's not that he's good at computers, it's that he's so bad he's good. You're just like, this is a clusterfuck. I don't know if I can get this with my computer. It doesn't look dangerous to jump in as a Shadowjack though.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Okay. Roll me an arcane check.
I assume you have rules for this in mind?
Yes, it's an average check.
Okay. Ugh. A failure.
How many threats did you get?
None.
None? Okay. As you go up, Shadowjacking, you kind of have to touch it. You know some other Shadowjacks can do it by like just jumping. You're not that good at it, so you have to have a physical connection. Later on, meta rules wise, there's talents you can take to increase that range. There is a potential for you to jump between wires as a Shadowjack, but right now you have to actually go through each terminal and through wires. It's like you're traveling on like a network of highways.
Sure.
Or tunnels. As you touch it, you try concentrating, but for a brief second you lose your concentration and you just end up shocking your finger for 1 strain.
And try again.
You could keep on trying, it's just more strain.
That's cocked. 4 successes and 1 threat.
1 strain.
Okay.
Yeah, so you jump right in, and like it shocks you, but like you close your eyes and you grit your teeth, and then you touch it again. Your finger like dematerializes for a second, kind of does a thing where it glitches out for a second, and then you just zip right in. Anyone else watching notice like a pixelization, but it gets exponentially faster as it goes up to the point where human eyes don't see it. To most people, it looks like you just vanished.
So.
And you can somewhat change how you look. How does your character look while he's in this state? Does he look like himself, or does he look different?
It would just be like a humanoid body, but like there's basically just like there's just no face. The head is just featureless.
Okay.
And he just has like a T-shirt with a symbol drawn onto it.
Okay, so it's like a mannequin. So
yeah, it's basically just the default Unity ragdoll model.
Okay, and
it has this symbol etched onto the front. From there, I'm going to try to see if I can find a way to access whatever drones they're using to examine this crime.
So as you go in, you're in this network junction, and it's like a fuse box. But as you get in there, it's as if you were a rat in a maze.
Okay.
It's really hard for you to make heads or tails of this, but since you know computers, you know what route should go where. You have a good understanding. It's just there's a higher potential of getting lost.
Just follow IP addresses.
Yes, in a way, but for you, it's all physical, right?
Yeah.
It's as if you are actually in like a bunch of tubes, right?
Yeah.
And then you start jogging that way. So as you start making your way that way, can you roll me a...
Is this an astrogation?
I was thinking it might be astrogation.
Astrocartography, basically?
Yep. Easy.
Easy?
Because this is a well laid out system, and it's not like it's intentionally fucked up.
Are you serious?
One failure. You go a couple places and you're like, I'm not sure where I'm at. It looks like I'm in the right place. Like you travel through one of the access panels and you get to another place that's also an access panel.
Is there any way for me to see what's on the other side?
Again, a talent.
Fuck. Is there any computers hooked up nearby?
Yeah, there's a few. Are you looking for like a big like workstation computer? Or are you looking
Just
for
anything.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's like TVs. There's like even a couple of like lighting fixtures.
Honestly, anything with a camera.
Roll a perception check. You're moving around in this place.
Difficulty.
Average is fine.
Fuck off! One advantage.
Oh my god, this is so bad. You're getting such low rolls. So there's no camera that you notice. Yeah, there's a computer.
Okay, I access it, so I'm gonna do a computer's check.
Yes, but for you, it wouldn't be a computer's check because you're now a Shadow Jack, which would mean
It's an Arcana now?
yes.
Interesting. What's the difficulty? So basically it's the same hacking rules, but instead of computers, it's Arcana.
Yes.
So I'm gonna do a system access.
Yeah, it also reduces the dip
Oh,
by
cool.
1. So for this will be easy.
3 successes, 1 threat.
Yeah, you're fine.
You don't decide to leave.
You're accessing the computer, right?
Yeah.
I don't think the person would have anything set up to notify them because they're not like super good with computers. It would probably just be something like you've been logged. Anyone that knows what to look for would notice you accessing it.
Am I aware of this?
Yeah, essentially it's just like accessed by user. But for someone that was like looking for specific like the logs and it has you.
Like me specifically, or just some weird anomaly? Okay, fine. So I have access to the computer. I'm going to like look for any sort of programs that use either like a microphone or a camera.
Okay.
So it just depends if any of them are protected.
It would be easy as shit. No, this is just a personal computer. Like there's a password, but you already cracked that by getting into it, and there's no other firewalls. So yeah, let's just do an easy Arcana.
Sure.
Nothing changes.
An advantage.
There is a microphone, but it hasn't been configured. There's no drivers for it, and it's just like it's so close. This is where it's so bad for you. Like nothing good's happening.
Can I see whose computer this is?
Okay. Yes.
I just start looking like whose computer is it?
As you start looking through stuff, it's registered as like Zern Sinless.
Can you spell that?
XERN and Sinless SINLUS. It's like a tablet thing.
Sure.
It was connected to the Wi-Fi or whatever.
What kind of files are on this thing?
That would be a...
Yeah, try to access like a file system.
So your character, it's like you're walking around and you're floating through this space, and as you get to this, it's like as if you enter, it's like you spawn inside of a room. There's various TV screens here and there, that each one of them representing like a stream of code that's being run, and it manifests in different ways to you. Some of it is like actual code, some of it is like an image representation of what's happening, and a lot of it all makes sense to you. And as you get there, there's an actual, for you it would be like he's not using complex software that you would use, so for you it's as if there's an actual
I just start
file
combing
organizer
through it and just like seeing what's on this thing and
so
who's using it.
Okay, that would be a perception check.
Difficulty?
Average is fine. Okay.
2 threats, 3 successes.
Okay, successes. What exactly were you looking for?
I'm just trying to figure out whose computer this is, what their job is.
That's not too hard. The plaque above the 3 filing cabinets is labeled Zern's files. One of them's labeled documents, one of them's labeled pictures, one of them's labeled videos. Which one would you go for first?
Yeah, I'll do documents first.
Alright, as you open up documents, there is just a shit list of a bunch of stuff. As you comb through it, you don't notice anything too out of the ordinary, aside from one labeled Ledger 533.
33. What do I connect what that is? Is it a year?
Yeah, you would. It's as if someone said 2006. We would kind of jump to that conclusion.
Okay.
Roll a history check, knowledge history.
I mean, if this is, is it beyond like my own memory?
No, it's within the last 10 years. Because the year right now is 541, so it's within. Depending on what type of knowledge roll you're gonna try, it's gonna influence the type of information I give you.
Ure. I'm just trying to think of where I was at that time.
Around that time, you probably would have been a low-ranking member of Eclipse Phase.
Yeah, I'll just do a history, I guess. What difficulty?
This would be really nuanced, so it would be a hard.
No, there's 2 failures.
Yeah.
I mean, I open it and like see if I recognize what these names are.
It looks like it's somewhat encoded in that they're not using real names or real numbers. As you start looking at this, it's like, oh, this is a departure from what's normally on it. Because there's other stuff in there, like documents of like tax forms and stuff like that. And it's obvious if you had a lot of time to comb through all of this, make heads and tails of it. But this is the one that really stood out to you.
Copies from this state?
Yes, but it's funny because you have to
like sit down and like write it.
No, you don't have to write it. You can get it and just take it with you.
But it would take it from the system, basically.
No, you can clone them. It's as if you're like separating them.
I'll do that.
So are you gonna take the whole filing cabinet, or are you just gonna take...
just that one file.
Okay, that one.
Is
file.
That all of my successes?
How many successes you had? You had 3. So I gave you the one about that. Okay, there's also another one labeled tax stuff, and it has his like legal name and stuff like that.
Okay, what's his legal name?
Yeah, same thing. Zen.
What's his occupation?
His occupation is listed as business owner, sole proprietary, Grand Mushroom Incorporated.
Fuck. I mean, I recognize that, right?
You as a person recognizes that. I don't think Ven does at all. For those of you listening, Albert's face just went like, what?
Can I make a history?
Yes, it's gonna be daunting. Because it's literally knowing about who owned this mother company of this obscure network in a really shitty part of the city.
No.
That is so many failures.
No threats, though. In fact, I have 2 advantages.
That is 3 failures, though. You have a feeling that Cassandra would know something about this? You're just gonna take
also remove a strain.
Yeah. So you have a feeling Cassandra would know more about this? It goes right over your head. Are you putting it together, Albert?
Yeah, a little bit. Okay, I'll just open up the pictures.
Okay, as you open up the pictures, it has a lot of pictures of an orc family. You don't recognize anyone in it. One of them is labeled like work, and another one's labeled like family and stuff. And there's a couple more, and there's like family trip stuff. Which ones catches your eye first?
Let's look at work.
It has like scans of various stuff, and as you start perusing it, it's by far the largest folder that's in there. It all looks normal until you get to like a section and you open it up, and there's just big subfolder of just images of that just looks like murder scenes. And you start looking at these more critically. Like there's pictures of like riots, massacres, and a few things, and it keeps going.
Okay. Do I see anything I recognize, like any people?
No one in particular. Because we already established your character didn't know the ins and
didn't
out.
Know anyone in person, basically.
Yeah, you didn't know the ins and out until about like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah,
3 years ago.
And I'll just look through the videos.
It's obvious that this is from back in the open conflict era.
Yeah.
Because there's people wearing clear outlines of the Crimson Concord Alliance uniforms, and there's like people that were wearing riot gear, and you see like images of Red Hellion soldiers, a lot of stuff like that. And as you get to the videos,
same sort of thing.
Same sort of stuff. There's other stuff about personal stuff. And there's even one that catches your eyes because it's a bit more gruesome than the rest. It looks like a torture scene where there's a guy being held up. He has a bag over his head. There's a orc interrogator. He looks like he's wearing a business type suit, and he's a big guy, massive, and he's like punching this guy in the face, yelling at him in Orcish. He's just going full ham on this guy, like rib shots. Is the guy
being interrogated saying anything?
The guy that's being interrogated, no, he's like mumbling and saying things in common, like I don't know. and interspersed with like groans and coughs.
I watched the whole thing. Is there
all the way through? It's
How
like
long is it?
It's like a 20-minute video.
I'll just take a copy. Meanwhile, I think your character
ice pack on face.
Yeah, I mean, like, you notice that he's gone for a while.
Shadowjacking is actually a lot faster than regular computer hacking, so...
But, I mean, it's been a few minutes.
Yeah.
At the very least, because I'm looking through videos and shit.
Yeah.
And, like, eventually you, like, get the presence of mind to check.
So,
and, you see that his wrist thing is actually, like, on floor.
The Rolex or the one yours?
No, mine. Well, both.
You would leave that?
Yeah, I think so. It's an escape if I need to. I leave it as like just a way to at least find my way back to where I was. Yeah, and it's clear there's some sort of message.
I guess I just pick it up. I should roll a computer check, even though this is easy.
Sure, yeah, it's easy.
It's part of my character's background that he doesn't know computers, but there's a very high chance he's not going to know how to do this. Yep.
Yeah, you succeed.
Yeah, I know. Right, gotta open up the one that looks like a mail. And it says...
So, you get the messenger, and it's the sunset eye again. It just says Denton, and with a question mark.
I say yes.
You need to get Vint out of there, and you need to go now.
Whoa. Wait, what?
It closes.
Shit.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Vessel. This podcast was recorded and edited by Albert and Alan and published by Blanket Term. If you liked this episode, consider joining us on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/blanketterm, on Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific for our world-building stream. Music for this podcast included compositions Andreas Theme, Chill Wave, Miami Viceroy, and Slow Jam by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0. And remember, violence solves all problems.